Now we've looked at situation, we've looked at the objectives, we've looked at strategy. Now it's time for us to go into the execution. Now, there's something called the 4 P's of marketing. But at some point, they changed it to 7 P's. So you have your product, you have your promotions. Promotion is offer, right? Then you have the price, the place where you're selling these products, online or offline. The people, who are the people you need for these products? Who are the people you need to help you sell these products? Who are the people you need to help you advertise? Who are the people that you need to help you fulfill these products? That sort of thing. You have people, then you have process. So process, what's your customer experience like? What's your delivery experience like? What's your fulfillment experience like? All those amazing things, that's your process. And then physical evidence. When somebody sees your logo, sees your brand, thinks about your brand, what's the first thing that comes to their head? When you deliver a service, how do you deliver it? When you deliver a product, how do you deliver it? That's your physical evidence, right? So that's the 7 P's of marketing. So it's very, very, very straightforward. There are 7 questions you answer. What are you selling? Chicken Republic is selling rice and chicken. White House is selling amala and abula. Right? What's your business selling? Your digital product, what is it? Is it a digital product that shows people how to make money online through e-commerce? Some people, what they do is they have a digital product that says, oh, make money online. Well, how? What are they going to make money online? Price, how is it? How much is it and how is it structured? Is it a one-time payment? Is it a yearly membership? A monthly membership? What's that price? Do you offer credit? Those sort of things. Where is it sold and where is it distributed? Online, via Instagram DM, WhatsApp, via a website, via a marketplace. Offline, you have your shop, you sell in other people's shops. What's the plan? Where's the place? Promotion, how do people hear about it? Do you run ads? Do you cold call? Do you send people emails? Cold email people? Do you cold DM? How do you promote? How do you speak to your target audience and let them know that, oh, I have this product, I have this service? How do you speak to these people? Right? Who will deliver the experience? Who will fulfill? Do you have a dispatch partner you need to work with? Do you have somebody that needs to design your deck? Maybe you are very good at execution, you're very good at presenting, but how to design the deck itself? Maybe you need a creative genius for that. You need a graphic designer. There's this AI tool, I think it's called Gamma.ai or something like that. You're able to create presentations in a few minutes. Who will deliver the experience? Process. How will the service or product be delivered? When you are onboarding a new client, if you're in a service-based business, what's that process? You the guys that I'm working with for recording this video, I was speaking to the person that engaged them and said that, oh, the Google account we're using, is it a paid one? I say yes. Say okay, now when we get there, this is how we would log in, things like that. What's your process? You need to have a process in place. If you don't have a process in place, you're not a serious business. Some people say these are your SOPs, standard operating procedures. Physical evidence, what proof do you have? We spoke about online reviews, that could be video reviews, it could be text, it could be screenshots, whatever it might be. What reviews do you have? That's some form of physical evidence. What branding do you have? If you go to a Chicken Republic, once you Chicken Republic logo, you're like, yeah, that's Chicken Republic. Once you hear nice, that's Chicken Republic. All these things are physical evidence, right? So that's pretty much how you want to look at it. When you look at Chicken Republic, they're like a Nigerian style fast food, rice and chicken. They sell chickpeas or something like that. Their price affordable, 1,000 to 7,000. Their place, physical outlets. There was a time where I used to believe that wherever there's a KFC, there's a Chicken Republic beside it. Right? I don't know whether that was intentional or not in terms of their marketing strategy. But that's something I noticed. There's now platforms like Glovo, Chowdeck, all these things. Where do they promote? Social media. They have jingles on radio. Sometimes you drive around Lagos, you see they have a billboard. All those sort of things. That's their promotion. People, they have a frontline staff, they have a back room or back staff. So the chef, the cleaners, all those people, they're the ones in front that serve your food, things like that. What's their process? So now what I've noticed is if you want to place your order, you go to one queue or one line. If you want to pick up, you go to another line. That's how they've done their process. Their kitchen is also open. Well, maybe that's not their kitchen, but where they put the food is also open, so you can see what you're buying. If the chicken is too small, you tell the girl, Auntie, I don't want that chicken. Okay, give me that one. Give me this one. Things like that. That's their process. Physical evidence. Yellow. Red and yellow. That's their uniform. Consistent packaging. The communication. Nice. All those kind of things. That's some form of physical evidence. If you go to their other reviews, if you go online on the social media, you see reviews, things like that. Right? So that's the 7 P's of marketing for Chicken Republic. I put some screenshots here. You can see they have almost 90,000 followers on Instagram. You can see what their logo looks like, their outlet. You can see one of their staff, things like that. I've also put another example for somebody that sells denim. Let's say this is a Tolu denim. Let's use that as an example. That's what they sell. Average order value in terms of pricing, 40,000 naira. They have limited time offers. Where do they sell? What place? E-commerce store. Instagram and WhatsApp. Where do they do their promotion? Instagram, email sendouts, WhatsApp broadcasts. They run ads using the Meta Ads Manager, things like that. People, they have a brand owner. It could be the person that owns the business. It could be somebody that they partner with, an influencer or an affiliate. Actually, you can actually partner with affiliates. That's something that we've done in our business where we partner with affiliates. You have UGC partners, you have logistics partners, you have your customer service rep, you have your content support rep. The thing is, unlike other business, well, I wouldn't say unlike other businesses. Nowadays, every business needs some form of support. It's not a one-man show. Even with AI, you have the process. So she sells denim. So because of that, she needs an accurate size guide. Obviously, she doesn't do payment on delivery because she has asked for my opinion, and I told her that she shouldn't do payment on delivery because I don't like payment on delivery. Right? Customer support. She has a service level agreement on WhatsApp, 30 minutes or less. That's her process. That's her SOP. Physical evidence, her delivery bags. She can even brand it in a certain way. It can be a different color. Imagine a delivery bag that looks like a pair of jeans or a pair of denim. Those are the kind of things she can do. The way she does her product images. I've shown you an example of that. So instead of just showing the jacket standing on the hanger or placed on a hanger, she can use product images like this, that sort of thing. She's very active on social media. She does 15 posts a week. So that could be on your stories, one post a day on your stories. That's 7 posts. 3 posts on your, maybe 3 or 4 posts on your page. That's at 12. Some other things as well, she gets to 15, right? So that's what your tactics are. Very straightforward. They're literally just those 7 key things. You pick it and tailor it to your business. Once you know what your tactics are, you then move on to the action plan. Let's look at our sales objective. Let's go back. Generate 50 million in sales by targeting 125,000 unique website landing page visitors and converting at least 1% of them at an average order value of 40,000 naira between January and December. Now, because I don't know whether I'm in the midst of Dangote's cousins or something, but because of how this objective is, it's a year's objective. You need to break it into quarters. You can't, you can if you want to, but you shouldn't pursue a yearly goal at one long stretch. You need to break it into quarters and give each quarter its own target, its own goal. So the same way you have this sales objective for the year, you would then just take this same sales objective and break it into a quarter. So for example, instead of generating 50 million, I'm generating 7.5 in Q1, 15% of that target. By Q2, I'm targeting 12.5 million naira, which is 25% of that target. You have to do it this way based on how your business is set up. You want to take your big sales objective and then split it into quarterly goals and then set your action plans towards those quarterly goals. So now let's look at what your action plans will look like. So you have your objective, right? Then you have your what, your who, your when, the tools required, and then a target. Okay? So I'm just going to take the first one as an example here. You're running ads on Instagram. That's the what. This is how you're going to get your landing page visitors to your website. Okay? Who is going to run those ads? Somebody that knows how to run ads. Ideally, most times, this whole thing might be you. If you run a small business and you're trying to grow, at the beginning, to be that run all these things. And then when you want to run that, also depend on your budget. Now, what I try to suggest is, based on your target revenue, you want to have between 10 to 30% of that revenue as your marketing spend. So you're targeting 50 million. You can't tell me you have 500K. I won't answer you. Because I feel like going back to your SMART goals, is that achievable? I don't think so. Except you have some unfair advantage in the sense where you're one of the very few people that can do something in a particular area, then maybe. If not, let's live in the real world. Tools required. So the ads manager, the meta ads manager to be precise. Instagram, of course, since you're running the ads on Instagram. Then you need the content or the creatives. And then you also want to have funds, like I said. Now, your target is a healthy ROAS. So ROAS is return on ad spend, like I said. And anything from 3 and above, ideally, is healthy. Because the quick math we do in our head is 1 naira is for the product, another naira is for advertising, cost of advertising, and the third naira is supposedly your profits. So as I say, you want to look at a ROAS of 3x. That's the quick math I would do. For your business, it might be different. Another action plan here is to send out monthly sales emails. A marketing rep will do this. This will be 1 to 2 times a month. You will want to use an email tool like maybe Klaviyo, Kit, MailChimp. Is up to you, really. Then you want to have healthy open rates. For e-commerce businesses, anything 30% and above, good. You also want to have low bounce rates, right? So you can see how it's very different, but they all come together to generate your objective. Sorry, to work with your objective, which is generate 50 million. So in this scenario, it will be by Q1, Your objective, instead of saying generate 15 million, it will be generate 7.5 million, right? Your conversion will still be 1%. Your average order value will be 40,000. Your targeting, your unique visitors is what will change. And I can use other data for that. I'll share as an example later on. I'm just going to fast forward a bit to the last one. So you want to ensure your store's conversion is at 1% minimum. And the person that will do that is your website rep. So you need a CMS website builder. So it could be Shopify, it could be Bumper, it could be Seller, it could be Mainstack, it could be, there are so many of them. So many of them. And then obviously your target will be your conversion rate, which is 1%. Right? And then you have purchases, that sort of thing. So that's pretty much your action plan. This particular tracker, I'll share with us so that you can also customize it for your own business. This is just an example. So that's it for the action plan. The action plan is very, very straightforward. The tactics and the action plan is very straightforward. That's why the first part, the situation, objectives, and strategy, is where you do bulk of the work. This other part, you've already done bulk of the work, so you know what you're doing here. You're just executing. Now, you've started to fire, you started to run ads, you started to do all those things. How do you know that what you are doing is working? And if it's not working, how do you quickly fix it? That's where control comes in. If you don't control and measure what you're doing, it's just a matter of time before you're wasting money. So you must always control what you're doing. And control can be so many different things. I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say you have an agency that runs ads for you. You give them a budget of 2,000 naira per day. You looked at it at the end of Q3, and you notice that instead of spending 2,000 naira per day, they started spending 3,500 naira. So they overspent your money by Q3. You now start getting upset. What's your problem? Why didn't you let me know? All of that. The truth of the matter is, even if you want to blame that agency, you are the first, blame yourself first. Because it shouldn't have taken you Q3 to notice that they were overspending. So that's where control comes in. So when it comes to control, what metrics matter? We are not the way I don't want to go too spiritual. But the way God created us, He only gave us two hands. We are not octopuses, so we can't control everything. We can't hold on to this. So you need to find what metrics are important. What metrics matter? How often are those things checked? We give an example of you are looking at something at Q3, something I should have looked at maybe that weekend. Who checks them? I've been in organizations where your money, you will check. After you check, your manager will check. After your manager checks, then they will not send it to the finance team, or they will send it to the managing director, that sort of thing. There's that two-factor authentication that they've put in there. And when performance drops, what happens? So nobody thought COVID was going to happen. I don't think somebody in 2018 was actively saying, or 2017 was actively saying in their mind that, a life-changing event is coming. COVID is coming. By 2019, you will see COVID. By 2020, you will see COVID. Nobody thought of that. Nobody. Even if some people said that, something was coming, you didn't know the name would be COVID. Mm-hmm. That one, I'm sure of it. Mm-hmm. So as COVID came, certain businesses quickly reacted. There was this guy, I don't know if you remember Too Short. They were like hand sanitizers. Yeah, with this lady, Dakore. That was their brand ambassador. That was a Pepsi product. Pepsi makes Coke. Pepsi makes cola, not Coke. They make cola drinks, right? And if you look at that, if we take a few steps back to our strategy, what kind of strategy was that? Diversification. Because they've diversified. 7-Up bottling company has no business making sanitizers, right? But COVID was there. They saw an opportunity. They were like, you know what? Let's make some money. Hopefully, they gave some money to charity as well. But hey, I'm not judging. It's the same way you have to ask yourself in your business, what happens? AI has come. Some people are anti-AI. Okay, no problem. How do you fight it? Something that there's so much money being dumped into it. I genuinely don't think you can win, but hey, as a business owner, how do you fight it? What's the plan? You run an Airbnb business. All of a sudden, other people in your location have popped up. How do you fight those people? Or it's even your demand has reduced. What do you do? Because you've already set an objective, you already set a sales objective, and you already put a conversion rate there. So you need to find traffic to make sure. Now, what most people do is they blame external factors. Remember, I told you, external factors, you have no control over it. What happens in the environment, what happens in terms of, policy, all these things you can't control. So what happens? What other action do you take? So very similar to what we looked at when we're looking at action. You have same running ads on Instagram. Let's say your ROAS is poor. Running ads on Instagram, but it's not converting. Most times the problem is either you're targeting, you're creative, or the offer. So you need to understand these things in your business. And then if you notice that, okay, how you're getting customers, it has dried up, that's where control comes in. One of the big issues that we have is content. A lot of us don't have content to post online. We don't have time to create content, or we don't like creating content. This is where AI comes in. Some don't even know what to post. Some people don't even know what to post. That's where AI comes in. You want to use these tools as, I wouldn't say creation tools. They shouldn't create the content for you, ideally, but at least they can assist you in your brainstorming. I have a lot of GPTs that I use for different things, which are my AI assistants. And when I want to brainstorm, I have an idea, or I have a topic, and I'm like, this topic is not nice, but let's start from here. It's the same way you want to leverage these tools, that sort of thing. So for your control, make sure you know what's important. So going back, what metrics matter? In sales, your most important metric is obviously the sales itself. Are you hitting that target? How are you hitting that target? You need to make sure you have people visiting your landing page, visiting your product page, which is your unique visitors. So that's another metric, right? When they visit, what do they buy? Are they buying the product that you want them to buy at 40,000 naira? Because you can make sales and everybody's buying product of 20,000, 10,000. You will not hit your target. In that scenario, what you can quickly do, and this is what's going to happen, because these things are not set in stone. These things are just your guide. Once you notice that, okay, average order value of 40,000 is not working, it is 20,000 naira. All of a sudden, you now need 250,000 unique visitors. So you adapt. So that's where control comes in. If you notice that, okay, this is what is working, adapt. Okay? So we're supposed to have another breakout session to understand the tactics and all that. But I think I'm going to round up here. But just before I round up, I just want to talk about a few big impacts for 2026.